Charming Shitzy goes to the roof, but the guard assumes that she wants to get even with her life and banishes her downstairs. The girl really thought about it, since she was betrayed, but did not dare to do the terrible deed. Noticing her ex-boyfriend with a new girl, Shiki rushes to him, but accidentally slips and falls. At that moment, she is picked up by a man who cushions the girl's fall. Noticing that he has broken his watch, the girl offers a small financial compensation, but Mr. Lee is not ready to let the girl go, as the watch is worth 1,000 times more. After learning the value of the watch, Shiki pretends to get dizzy. When Lee Dong starts threatening the police, the girl decides to push pity. She reveals that the boyfriend she's kept for the past 2 years betrayed her and started dating someone else. At one point she tries to run away, but Doon does not let her go, as he realized that it is a beautiful acting. The man promises not to take his eyes off the girl for a minute until she repays the debt, but at that moment he is distracted by a potential business partner with his wife. The woman assumes that Shitzy is Doon's young and beautiful wife, and the girl decides to play along with the situation. Shiki manages to get better contract terms for Doon, after which she escapes safely, having lost her documents in the hall. Upon returning home, Shiki learns that Fanki has packed her things to kick the girl out of the house. They break up because of his betrayal, which again leads to a quarrel, during which the guy pushes Shiki away. It was she who paid for the apartment, but he entered graduate school and received an invitation to an internship in a solid company, so good housing is more important to him. Fancy insults the girl, claiming that no one else wants her, but that's when Dong shows up at the apartment. He not only defends the crying Shiki, but also claims that she is his girlfriend. He also makes a phone call that gets Fancy immediately expelled from his company's internship program, as evil must be punished. After kicking Fancy out of the house, Dong communicates with Shiki, supporting the girl in her time of need. He considers her a good person and asks her to draw the right conclusions from what happened. Shiki promises to return the money for the broken watch, but the rich man does not need it, because he liked her. Trying to help the girl to solve financial difficulties, Dong invites her to become part of his company. Shitzy is ready to work and gets acquainted with the team, but not everyone accepts her with a smile. Some of the girls are jealous of the beauty and try to harm her, believing that Shitzy's only goal is to seduce the rich boss. The next morning, the girl almost falls asleep at the workplace, but only because she worked all night and prepared all the necessary documents. A little later, a scandal breaks out, because in the contract the profit of the business partner is only 10 cents. Revisiting the contract, Shitzy realizes that this is not her version of the contract, because there the profit was at least $600,000. She realizes that this is the work of a jealous colleague, but the evil Shen takes the opportunity to blame the inexperienced Shiki for everything. During the scandal, the businesswoman hears a familiar name and puts on her glasses, then recognizes Shiki as a classmate who protected her from angry classmates and bullies. Wong agrees not to cause a scandal and to sign a new contract, and then becomes the advertising face of Doon's company, thanking Shiki for her help. A couple of days later, Shiki is late for work and learns that a deeply respected businessman named Zhang is coming to their company today. Cooperation with him can bring millions of dollars, so each of the girls dreams of getting closer to this man, earning the respect not only of Zhang, but also of Dong. Soon a colleague notices a man who accidentally dropped a cup of coffee and asks the woman to clean it up, believing it to be a cleaning lady. Shiki doesn't like the arrogant behavior, and instead of getting to know Mr. Zhang, helps the woman clean up. The cleaning lady offers to ask for anything as a thank you, but the humble Shiki doesn't do it for profit. She just doesn't like to be offended by ordinary working people. After cleaning, the woman calls her young son to reassure him. The boy is only 2 years old and he is sick, so he doesn't sleep well. The woman also hasn't been getting enough sleep regularly, which makes her face need care and professional cosmetics. Shitzy suggests using their company's products, but a jealous colleague prevents this. The girl takes the cosmetics back, because it is a set that was given to her as a gift for March 8, and she has the right to dispose of it as she sees fit. Trying to humiliate the cleaning lady, the jealous colleague claims that she will fine the woman a part of her salary. Shiki thinks the accusations are unfair, but the girl knocks over a bucket of garbage. Zhang accidentally grazes the bucket and falls to the ground, whereupon the coworker blames Shiki and the cleaning lady for the incident. The woman is kicked out, but Shiki gives her his cosmetic kit to cheer her up a bit. A little later, Dong informs her that Zhang refused to sign a cooperation contract because of their company's terrible employees. The jealous coworker immediately states that this is Shiki we're talking about, since she took care of Zhang unlike her. She offers to fire Shiki when suddenly a woman appears to defend the girl. An envious colleague insults the woman, considering her a cleaning lady, but Dong does not allow to communicate with her business partner in such a way. As it turns out, a wealthy companion named Zhang is the woman they mistook for the beggarly cleaning lady. As a result, Dong fires the insolent subordinate, and Zhang agrees to sign a contract not for 5, but for 50 million, but only on the condition that his escort will be Shiki. Sometime later, Shiki quarrels with Tao, a colleague with whom they studied at the same university. She is jealous of Shiki because the owner of the company personally invited her to work with him. She thinks that Shiki is unworthy of Dun's attention, but suddenly a man appears in the office to talk to her, which makes Tao even angrier. A little later, Tao is tasked with escorting a finicky starlet they will be contracting with. After learning that this is an extremely difficult person, she assigns the task to Shiki, hoping that she won't be able to handle it, resulting in the girl being fired. After getting to know the star, Shiki fulfills her every wish. Having received an order for soup, the girl goes somewhere and returns a few minutes later with a fishing rod and a bucket full of fish. After that, Shitzi goes to the kitchen and cooks soup, but Tao throws a foreign object into it to spoil the dish. It becomes known that Tao has added laxatives to the soup, and the star's assistant runs away to the restroom as she is the first to taste the soup. Tao takes advantage of the situation and blames Shiki for everything, and then reports the incident to Dun. The president of the company rushes to them, but the girls manage to make up and become friends. Moreover, the star is ready to sign a contract, halving his fee. As it turned out, some time ago the star wanted to take by force a drunken man, but Shitzi defended her, beating the bully and getting a scar. Thanks to the documents received from the courier, it becomes clear that the laxative in the soup added Tao, as a result of which she is fined and reprimanded. Soon after, it is revealed that Dong has a son. The man has no time to educate his son, so he asks Shiki to look after Tong. Tao decides to get close to the boy in order to become the boss's wife, but the schoolboy teases her by slipping her a pie with a spicy filling. Tao tries to help Tong with his homework, but can't solve a difficult problem. She tries to badger Shiki that she can't do it either, but it turns out that the girl has already done everything and is resting. A little later, Dong leaves Shiki and Tao a list of foods to which his son is allergic. The conniving coworker tears up the piece of paper, and Shiki prepares the food that causes the boy to have an allergic attack. Duong sees this and informs him that his son is allergic to peanut butter, and he indicated this on the warning sheet. As soon as the principal and Tong leave for the hospital, Tao suggests that the girl quit. Shiki realizes that the conniving colleague set her up, but the girl has no evidence to back it up. At the same moment, Dong returns to the office, filming what is happening on camera. As it turns out, Shiki found a list of foods that Tong is allergic to, and what happened was a prank to expose the evil Tao. Dong thanks Shiki for raising the child and recognizes that Tong is not his son, but an uncle to take care of. The boy offers to taste a heart-shaped candy, but abruptly takes it away, causing Duong to accidentally kiss Shiki. A few days later, Shiki goes on a blind date with a rich man. Her mother wants her daughter to marry successfully and help her brother pay for the upcoming wedding, but the girl has no intention of becoming the wife of a man she doesn't love. The man shows persistence, but Dun stands up for the beauty. The mother learns of the incident and asks to introduce her to Dun, assuming that the couple is in a relationship. Soon Dun and Shiki go to the girl's mother's house, and the man notices how poorly her own mother treats her, caring only about her son and his fiancée. Over dinner, the mother continues to pay attention to her son, and Shiki discovers that her bedroom has been turned into a playroom for her brother. The woman has thrown away or sold all of her daughter's things, so there are no clothes or shoes for Shitzi, which makes the girl resentful. Mother and daughter argue as suddenly the brother's girlfriend declares that they need to break up. The mother blames Shiki for what happened, but Dun defends her. The man is outraged that the mother is willing to spend the last of her money for her son, but is greedy to give her daughter even $1. Dune exposes himself as a rich president with millions of dollars on his bank card. The girl's mother changes her attitude towards him and is ready for anything, but Dune doesn't want to see her and takes Shiki away from her parents' house, supporting her in a difficult moment, as a result of which she hugs him tightly with tears in her eyes. Shiki is tired of work and dreams of a vacation. A coworker named Chen suggests that she take some time off and leave early. She seems to be a good friend, but Chen only pretends to be in order to set Shiki up and get closer to the boss she is in love with. Chen presents a joint project, but says she made it herself since Shiki is constantly late for work. Dune is suspicious, knowing Shiki's conscientiousness and has no intention of firing her for absenteeism. A little later, it's time for the project presentation, but Chen asks Shiki to go and change, claiming she has 2 hours to do so. Upon returning, Shiki finds out that Chen tricked her into presenting the project on her own. In an attempt to restore justice, Shiki turns off the power, as she is the only one who knows the terms of the project by heart. Using her knowledge, she presents the project to the company director and shareholders, making a good impression on them. Shiki exposes the cheating girl to the boss. Chen points out that the girl has a boyfriend, but it turns out that Dune has the same bracelet, since he was the one who gave it to Shiki. Soon the girl's internship comes to an end, and she gets a permanent position in the company. A couple of weeks later, the girl is visited by her poor relatives, whom she has to let into Dune's house. The dog prevents the elderly couple from sleeping peacefully, so Dune takes him in. The old people have bad clothes and Shiki takes them to the mall to improve the situation. Realizing that Dune is incredibly rich, the girl's relatives decide to go on a scam to swindle some money out of him. While Dune takes care of Shiki and helps him use his face cream, the uncle and aunt try to steal from the couple by hiding expensive clothes and shoes in bags. The next morning, the relatives invite friends into the rich man's house, turning one of the rooms into a pigsty full of garbage. Shitsi is outraged not only by this, but also by the disappearance of the Labrador, because of which the girl has to go in search of the dog. When she returns home, she gets in the way of playing a board game and chases the intruders away. Uncle and aunt reproach Shitsi, calling her ungrateful, but she remembers very well how as a child they did not share food with her, believing that she did not deserve it. After learning about everything, Dune throws his relatives' belongings on the doorstep and asks them to leave his house once and for all. Soon Shiki has a friend Tong, who does not know that she and Dong are in a relationship. The girl falls in love with the boss from the first minute and invites him on a date. He agrees, but only so that Shiki's friend can help him choose a car as a gift. A little later, Shiki has a fight with one of the bosses and asks Tong to buy him a gift. The friend decides to set Shiki up and presents the boss with an insulting prank toy, which makes him even angrier at the girl. Shiki realizes that Tong is a petty and jealous girl who not only wants to take her place in the company, but also to become Dong's wife. A little later, Tong tries to get the director to fire Shiki for a bad contract, but it turns out that she was the one who made the contract and made a mistake. Shiki is disappointed, as she had promised her friend in the past to help each other. Tong only ended up in this company because of her efforts, but didn't appreciate it and bit her nursing hand. Realizing that she has done something stupid, Tong tries to apologize for her betrayal and asks her to help her one last time. Shiki realizes that she can no longer be trusted and rejects her friend, who turns out to be petty and greedy. A week later, her cousin's wife, who dreams of divorce, comes to visit Shitsi. As it turns out, her husband is incredibly greedy and counts every penny, while drinking heavily and spending time with his mistress. Shitsi tries to educate her cousin, but he considers his behavior normal, which leads to a quarrel. The couple is ready for divorce, but the woman is upset that the son chooses his father, since she has no money and no job. A little later, she finds a gold pendant in her bag and realizes that it was the son who planted it so that she could sell the jewelry and buy food. The boy stayed with his father not for the money, but to avoid bankrupting his already poor mother. Knowing that her son wants to be with her, the woman decides to return home and take him at any cost. Her husband pounces on her and Shiki to hit them with a heavy statue, but Dune appears in the room, protecting both of them. Dune announces that he has sued the bad father, which will result in him returning the house and car to his wife, allowing her to provide for her son's needs. A couple days later, Shiki discovers that a married companion is trying to seduce a demure and young intern. After becoming the head of one of the departments, Shiki voices a grievance to Zong as an equal, demanding that he leave her new friend alone. At the same time, she has no proof of her companion's guilt, leading him to demand a public apology. Shiki trusts her friend and decides to expose Zong by gathering evidence of his attempts to cheat on his wife. Soon the trainee has to apologize, but at the same time the companion molests her again. After exposing the traitor, Shiki and her friend slap him in the face and tell him that they filmed the incident on a hidden camera. Having been exposed, Zong tries to enlist Dong's support, believing that he will understand him as a man. After learning of the affair, his wife divorces Zong and promises to become Dun's companion as she is the owner of all the family's money. A few days later, Shiki decides to fire her subordinate, finding a formal reason to do so. She seems angry, but she really wants to help a poor girl whose parents are very ill. Shiki saw the conversation with the relatives and knows that the family has money for the education of only one child. The girl was unlucky enough to pick a sheet that said her brother would study while she would provide for the whole family. Shiki thinks this is unfair, so that's what she did to the girl. A little later, Shiki found out that the mother left her daughter no choice by slipping her two identical pieces of paper. After learning about her daughter's dismissal, the woman came to the office to make a scandal. She holds her daughter responsible for the failure and wants to hit her, but Shiki stands up for the girl. Shiki exposes the deception with identical notes and advises the girl to continue her university studies. The brother would like to hit his sister for choosing to be selfish, but not only Shiki but also other girls working in the company stand up for her. Dong also defends the girl, after which she finds not only a diploma in a box of things, but also gifts in the form of cosmetics and a bank card with money for further study. Soon Shiki goes on a business trip and loses some of her belongings on her return. Calling Dune, she asks him to pick her up and goes to a nearby restaurant to warm up. One of the waiters thinks that Shiki is a beggar and cannot afford to dine at an expensive restaurant. The second waitress stands up for Shitsi, treating her with respect regardless of her financial status. Later, the waiter demands to pay the bill, but Shitsi has no money. She promises that she will pay in 10 minutes and asks the girl for her cell phone to call her husband. A little later, the waiter grabs her arm, assuming that Shiki wants to escape without paying. Dune defends his wife, and it turns out that he is the owner of this restaurant. In the end, Dune fires the brash waiter and appoints the humble waitress as the restaurant's new manager. As they leave the restaurant, Dune and Shiki meet the man's mother. A couple days later, Shiki and Dune go to the man's family home to meet his parents and other relatives. The aunt immediately points out that Shiki is too modest and her bitch is very cheap. Dune promises to remedy this and give the girl new things to match her new status. During dinner, the aunt constantly provokes Shiki by egging her on about her poverty. The girl has no father and $5 million in her account, so the woman considers her unworthy to become Dune's wife. As a result, Dune and his mother stand up for the girl and fight with his aunt. To prevent the girl from feeling destitute, her mother gives her a house and a car, and Dune gives up half of the money, narrowing the gap between their financial situations. A few weeks later, Dune and Shiki are taking wedding photos when suddenly the girl notices her ex. He claims that he loves the girl and wants to be with her, but she remembers that this man has always been calculating and selfish. Comparing the ex and Dune, Shiki realized that her future husband is not mercantile, although he is very rich, so she fell in love with him sincerely. The ex didn't pay attention or care, while Dune shows respect and is able to put cream on the girl's face to keep her as young and beautiful. Unlike the ex, Dune has signed his house over to Shiki so that she will kick him out if he starts treating her badly. Unwilling to admit the insulting truth, the ex-boyfriend calls Shiki mercantile. Dune stands up for his beloved and puts the insolent man who insults her in his place. When the boyfriend decides to hit Dune, he easily tackles him and makes him admit his wrongdoing. Soon the couple is preparing for the wedding and Shiki decides to invite even relatives, with whom he does not communicate well, to the celebration. The mother, who is actually a stepmother, has always treated the girl badly, After the father was gone, their relationship became even worse because the woman robbed Shitsi, taking all the money she got from her late father. A couple of days later, Dune proposes to postpone the wedding as his company is on the verge of bankruptcy and he cannot afford an expensive party in a good restaurant. For Shiki, money is not important because she loves her future husband and wants to be only with him. Dune's ex-girlfriend is ready to help him financially if he chooses her, but he rejects the beauty as he loves only Shiki. Angry, the ex-girlfriend promises to help Dune's company go bankrupt. At the same time, Shiki's birth mother announces herself, who turns out to be a rich woman who can solve Dune's financial difficulties so that her daughter will be happy and finally marry the man she loves.